2022 Toyota Tundra is being bought up by used car dealers to sell for a premium. Is this really happening? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Motive FST. So are the 2022 Toyota Tundras being bought up by used dealers to sell for a premium? You know, I did a video recently talking about used Toyota Tundras, the 2022 Toyota Tundra, showing up on used car dealer lots already. I mean, the truck's only been out for a month, right? And at first, and in the video, I mentioned that it was due to people getting them and not liking them for various reasons. Either they were too big, the gas mileage was too much, or they just didn't like the truck. But I got a few comments on the channel, actually several, from folks suggesting that used car dealers were actually buying these trucks brand new from dealer lots that are selling them at MSRP. And at first I thought, there's no way that they're doing that. That's crazy. But as I got more comments and started to think about it a little bit more myself, it kind of makes sense to me now. That is, if the used car dealers can actually buy them at MSRP. Obviously, if you're a used car dealer and you're gonna buy something, a new 2022 Tundra, with a market adjustment attached to it, let's say 10 grand, you obviously would have to sell the truck even higher than that $10,000 premium. That wouldn't be good business, I don't think. But I have had several people tell me out there that there are indeed dealers that are selling the truck at MSRP. Now, you might wonder, at least I did, well, that's good and all, but the used car dealer is going to go in, buy the truck at MSRP, and then have to jack up the price above all the other fees and stuff they had to pay, right? Well, not necessarily. You see, the dealer is a business, the used car dealer. So, depending on what state you live in and what the laws and regulations are, they may not have to pay sales tax on that truck because they're a business, they're exempt. So they really can get the truck at MSRP plus any other fees they might incur from the dealership, which would be minimal in the grand scheme of things. Buy the truck, take it to their lot. It's still brand new, right? I mean, it probably would have less than 100 miles anyway on it. And then mark it up, $5,000, $10,000, whatever. That is a pretty nice profit margin if you can turn the truck quickly. Obviously, they're going to pay taxes on their inventory at some point. They're also going to pay interest on their loans because I'm assuming they're not buying these trucks with their own cash. They probably have their cash invested in interest-bearing accounts somewhere. So they're probably not doing it that way. But it makes perfect sense to me now that I think about it. And you folks out there who have suggested, which I argued against a little bit, that that is probably what's happening, are right, I think. It makes a lot of sense. I would do the same thing, and generally it's the same thing as a business buying a product, any product, at wholesale. In this case, the wholesale price of the 2022 Tundra would be MSRP plus cost. Then they bring it onto their lot and they sell it for a profit. There's really no difference there. And I think now, more so than just the consumer picking one up and not liking it, that probably is what's going on. And I bet it's going on across state lines. Now, you might wonder then, well, if they're buying them across state lines, then they've got to get it back to the dealership, they're going to put miles on it. No, they're going to rent a truck, probably a pull behind off of maybe a Tundra, maybe a Ford F-150, some other used truck that they may have on the lot. Heck, it may be the owner's personal vehicle. You know, for a $10,000 profit, I think I could drive my own truck for a few hundred miles or an hour or 7 or 10 maybe even to pick up a truck to make that kind of money on, because that's my business, right? So they show up at the dealership, they strike the deal, probably over the phone, much like you and I are probably doing these days. They don't need to drive it. They don't need to do any of that stuff. And for that matter, the selling dealership, the original selling dealership, they don't care who they're selling it to. They may not even know who they're selling it to. You know, a lot of people with businesses will buy trucks under the business name. You know, Harry's Car Lot or Fred's Used Car Dealer, whatever it is, they don't care. For them, it's a sale. It doesn't really matter. Now, the bad thing for you and I when it comes to that is it helps to propagate all of the shortages that are out there and the premiums that some dealers may charge, because it keeps the new 2022 Toyota Tundra in short supply. As long as these used dealers can pick up these trucks and it's worth their while, that's gonna keep the supply low. Particularly if they're buying them from out of state, taking them back to their state, it's gonna keep them low in your state. So I don't know what I think about this. I mean, it is good business for the used car dealer, I suppose. And for them, as I mentioned, it's no different really than buying a product at cost, whatever that wholesale cost is, MSRP plus fees again, and then turning it around and selling it for a profit. Now, how much can they actually mark it up? Well, that's dependent really on the dealerships and the demand in their areas. You know, there are a lot of people out there jonesing for this truck. They want to be the first one to have it. They want to have that shiny new Toyota Tundra, so they're willing to pay for it. And as long as the original dealerships keep that premium going, they can be competitive within the market. And by buying up these trucks at MSRP, they can afford to add more money to the price of the truck, obviously, as long as supply is low and demand remains high, which we all know, according to the comments I'm seeing anyway, is true with the 2022 Tundra. Let me tell you, I saw an article the other day that the lead time or demand time for the new Toyota Tundra is 1.5 years. So if you want to buy a new one and order it, I've been told it's 1.5 years. Now, I'm not talking about grabbing one that's already allocated somewhere. There is a big difference between buying an allocated truck and buying one that you built yourself. The allocated truck is going to be what it is. You might be able to add some options and things upon delivery at port, negotiated with the dealership. But you're not going to change the color, the drivetrain, all the things that you might customize when you order one yourself. So there is a bit of a difference when you buy one that's on allocation versus one that you've ordered direct from the factory. That is what the article mentioned is 1.5 years lead time to be able to order custom a brand new 2022 Toyota Tundra. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about that a little bit. It seems the 2022 Toyota Tundras are being bought up by the used dealers. Leave a comment, let me know. Have you seen this? Have you experienced it? I'd be curious. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.